And right now, we are 2 minutes away from the end of the trading day. Romaine Bostick alongside Alix Steel. We're counting you down to the closing bell. You're here to help take us beyond the bell. It's a global simulcast. We're joined right now by Scarlet Fu, as well as Massar and Tim Stenovec, as we welcome our audiences across all of our Bloomberg platforms, television, radio, that partnership, Carol, that still exists with YouTube. Here on a pretty good day in the markets as we await those earnings out of Apple.
Unless you're trying to short the market on the equity side. Just
who would do that, Carol?
People do that. Two sides to every trade. Having said that, you look at the S&P.
Wow, I learn something new every day.
I know. Markets 101. Welcome, everybody. All right, S&P 500, you've got more than 300 names to the upside right now. So you definitely feel like investors are willing to play in this market, especially when it comes to some of those big tech names.
Yeah, we're 30 seconds into this and nobody's talked about Apple earnings yet. Coming at 4:30.
Apple reports?
Higher by more than 2% today. Is there going to be anything regarding a buyback, additional buyback announced? What does China look like? Those are all big questions that investors certainly have, especially considering all the third-party data that we've gotten over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but the fact that the stock is down about 10, 11% so far this year, and it's lost about 7.5% since the last earnings report, a miss is pretty much priced in at this point. So if you want to look ahead, let's look ahead to the jobs report tomorrow. Yeah. That's going to be, ground zero again for the Fed in terms of what it does next.
But you're looking at the Russell, right? The Russell 2000 is up by 1.7%. So clearly it's sort of the smaller companies, it is the cyclicals, they're really starting to outperform, right? One of the top performing stocks, I keep going back to it, is a logistics company, like the real economy stuff.
Yeah, well, we should point out, that the best performing, at least of the major indices, are the Dow transports here, and that is on the back of some of the moves you're seeing in C.H. Robinson, some of the other truckers as well, but also the airlines, also the railroads, also a lot of the aggregate makers as well here. So maybe that is the cyclical trade, at least for this one day, as we await those earnings out of Apple. The Dow is going to finish higher by about 300 points, or about 0.9%. The S&P up by about 46 points, or 0.9%. The NASDAQ composite higher by more than 200 points, or 1.5%. And your outperformer on the day, Dow Transports, up 2.5% here on the day, and the Russell 2000 going to close out the day higher by 1.8%.
All right, guys, to some of the individual gainers. Number one gainer in the NASDAQ 100, number three gainer in the S&P 500, drum roll please, is Moderna, which is up about 12.5% in today's session, reported a narrower first quarter loss than Wall Street had expected, and the company also doing a lot of cost cutting, so that helped offset a steep decline in its COVID business. But we've got some new earnings.
Yeah, first quarter revenue for Booking Holdings beating estimates. First quarter gross bookings revenue coming in at $43.5 billion, beating estimates of $42.2 billion. Booking first quarter room nights sold coming in above estimates at 297 million versus estimates of 290.93 million dollars, 93 million, I should say. Booking first quarter revenue for 4.4 billion versus estimates of 4.25 billion, so a beat there as well. And I know adjusted EBITDA also coming in above estimates, 898.8 million versus estimates of 718.6 million dollars.
All right, to Expedia we go. The stock is popping in the aftermarket. Just a few headlines here so far. First quarter adjusted EBITDA of 255 million. The estimate was for 175.2 million, but you are seeing that stock really pop higher here in the aftermarket. Romaine, it's up about 3.6%. We'll look for some more headlines on that one.
WW earnings also out as well here in the most recent quarter. The company reporting revenue that came in a bit above expectations. $206.5 million. The street was looking for $199.5. Net subscription revenue also tracking similar numbers. And as far as the actual number of subscribers there, it looks like pretty much in line with estimates, about 4 million. The street was looking for 4.01 here. Shares not really doing much here in after hours trading. Scarlett.
All right, let's talk about Amgen, the biotech company reporting first quarter adjusted EPS of $3.96, beating the consensus estimate by 2 pennies. In terms of the operating income, that was a miss, $3.08 billion. Analysts were looking for $3.12 billion. The outlook here, full year adjusted EPS anywhere from $19 to $20.20. That is a raise, a higher forecast, because previously it had seen $18.90 to $20.30. So just a shift up in terms of its outlook.
I just want to go back to Expedia for a moment. So it just looks like we're getting some more data out here. Their free cash flow of the first quarter coming in at $2.7 billion. That looked a little bit lighter. The stock is still up pre-market, but its gross bookings for the first quarter also came in a little bit light at $30.16 billion. Expectations were for $30.5 billion. I'm trying to piece together this and booking, as well as MGM and the hotels, and I'm trying to get a macro read on it. I'm not entirely clear as to what that is yet.
Little commentary commentary and context. They say, given the verbo drag and the rate of acceleration in B2C thus far, we are lowering, the company says, our full year guidance to a range of mid to high single digit top line growth with margins relatively in line versus last year. Despite the slower than expected acceleration, the underpinning of the work we have done on the platform, blah, 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 that they have every confidence in the teams to continue to leverage their capabilities to drive stronger growth. So it sounds like a little bit of a tempering back, pullback of expectations.
Well, that's what I'm curious about. I mean, what does this say about the state of travel right now? I mean,
but everybody's traveling.
Yeah, I mean, we heard from the airlines directly. So, I mean, they basically said that at least for right now, things are pretty good here. But for these third-party booking companies here, are they holding up just as well? What are they seeing that's different?
What are they seeing that's different? I mean, a lot of it also comes down to how much people are willing to go through these third-party websites versus going through the airlines directly, or perhaps using their miles, their credit card points to cash in on that, right? Because we know those are devaluing pretty quickly.
Do you do that anymore? I'm curious. I mean,
do what anymore?
Yeah, totally.
Going through the third-party
Oh,
sites.
no, not that.
No,
not
I
that.
do that. I do that.
You go right to the airlines?
I go right to the airline.
I go right to the airlines.
Okay, well,
No, I don't do that.
speaking of third parties, let's go back to Booking because we're seeing shares move higher in the after hours. Glenn Fogel, the CEO over at Booking, saying, talking about the strong start to 2024, touting the first quarter year-over-year growth in room nights of 9%, revenue of 17%, operating income of 76%, all of which were ahead of prior expectations. They're looking at higher frequency and more of travelers moving into the upper Genius loyalty tiers. So some movement there.
All right, let's go to Coinbase right now. Coinbase, reporting first quarter revenue of $1.64 billion, topping the average analyst estimate of $1.32 billion. It sees second quarter subscription and services revenue of anywhere from $525 to $600 million. Those are the numbers I'm getting right now. Again, revenue top line, $1.64 billion, higher than the consensus estimate. We have the bottom line number now, $4.40 for the first quarter EPS. Wow, analysts were looking for $1.07. I'm not sure if we're comparing like with like here. That looks too big.
Yeah, stock's still down about 2.5% in the aftermarket. Keep in mind, it's had a pretty good bump to the upside here in 2024, up about 31%. 6% of the float is shorted. So we'll wait for a little bit more context around this one to see in terms of that comparison.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers now. It looks like definitely not apples to apples, but our team here at Bloomberg will sort that out. But I mean, look, we knew they were going to benefit from all that trading volume that we saw in the first quarter, and that some of that had to, of course, fall onto Coinbase. So I guess wouldn't be out of the realm a possibility that they did have a pretty wide beat.
And that stock is down by over 2%. Are we learning anything, guys, in terms of the stock reaction move and then the numbers that we get? I mean, it does seem like if you underdeliver, if you underpromise and overdeliver, you do get some kind of pop. But that margin isn't that great. It's not that much of what we've seen, say, in the past.
I'm just going to point out to you right now, Expedia, which was rallying, is now down about 2.3% here in the aftermarket. So we're seeing some rethink in terms of some of the numbers. Just to rehash, first quarter adjusted EPS, 21 cents, was for an estimated loss of 24 cents. First quarter gross bookings, we talked about this, 30.16 billion, maybe a hair light, 30.5 was the estimate. First quarter cash flow was a little light, 2.7 versus 2.82 billion was the estimate. So again, a little bit of a pop to the downside. Now it's down about 3%. So quite a swing here in the aftermarket very quickly, too.
Yeah, continuing also to see Booking Holdings shares move higher by 9.4% right now. Revenue on the top line beat estimates. Revenue on we saw the bottom line beat estimates as well. Revenue coming in at $4.42 billion. Estimates were for $4.25 billion. Still waiting on the company formerly known as Square, now called Block, in addition to Apple coming later.
I want to go back to what Alex was saying. Are we really getting much of a read into the stock price reaction? I'd argue that given the popularity of options, what you're seeing is just a lot of settling of those positions more than anything else at this point.
That's such a good point.
Live Nation earnings crossing the wire as well here. Their revenue in the most recent quarter, guys, looks like a beat, $3.8 billion. The street was looking for 3.3 here. And operating income also coming in slightly above estimates here, though you see the share reaction slightly to the downside here. But I mean, looking at this is 21% revenue growth, a 26% specifically on the concert revenue, if you will, here. And sponsorship and advertising also up about 24%. So pretty much a beat all around, but maybe the street was looking for something more given the share reaction.
Michael Rapino, CEO and president of Live Nation, saying that global fan demand right now is stronger than ever. I think it makes sense in the wake of Taylor and Beyonce over the last few months.
All right, on to Apple we go, guys, in about 20 minutes or so. All right, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform, a lot of earnings getting through here on our cross-platform on radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals, Beyond the Bell. We will see you same time, same place tomorrow.